Hybrid cars that improve with age. Toyota Prius long-term reliability. High-mileage hybrid performance. Lexus hybrid durability. Stick with me all the way through because at the end, I'm going to tell you about the one hybrid component that literally performs better at 200,000 miles than it did when new, and why mechanics who know this actually prefer working on old hybrids. So here's something nobody tells you when you're shopping for a hybrid. Most people assume that cars, like milk and celebrities, get worse with age. And for most cars, yeah, that's true. Things wear out, performance drops, stuff breaks. By the time a regular car hits 150,000 miles, it's usually a collection of compromises held together by oil changes and prayer. But there are three hybrid systems that genuinely improve as they age, not in spite of the miles, because of the miles. These systems get smoother, more refined, and in some ways, more efficient the longer you drive them. I know that sounds like I'm selling snake oil, but hear me out, because the engineering behind this is actually fascinating. Before we get into it, if you want car content that actually explains how things work, instead of just listing specs over B-roll, go ahead and subscribe. And if you know someone stressing about buying a high-mileage hybrid because they think it's risky, share this with them. What I'm about to explain might completely change their mind. Alright, let's talk about why most cars get worse with age first, because you need the contrast. A traditional gasoline car has an engine with pistons, rings, bearings, all sliding against each other thousands of times per minute. Over time, tolerances increase, compression drops, oil consumption goes up. The transmission has clutches or bands that wear. The whole thing slowly becomes a looser, lazier version of itself. It still works, but it doesn't feel new anymore. Now, hybrids have most of that same stuff. The engine still wears, suspension bushings still rot, but the hybrid system, the part that makes it a hybrid, operates on completely different principles. And three systems in particular have design characteristics that actually benefit from age and use. Number 1. Toyota and Lexus e-CVT hybrids. This is the Prius, Camry hybrid, RAV4 hybrid, Highlander hybrid, and pretty much every Lexus hybrid. The ES, the RX, the NX, all of them use the same basic system. And this system doesn't just age well, it gets better. Here's why. The e-CVT isn't a transmission in the traditional sense. There's no belt, no clutches. It's a planetary gear set with 2 electric motors. Power from the engine and motors blends through the gears and goes to the wheels. The only things touching are gear teeth and bearings. That's it. Gears don't wear out the way clutches do. They can run for hundreds of thousands of miles with nothing but clean oil. But here's the weird part. As the gears break in, the contact surfaces actually get smoother. Microscopic imperfections from manufacturing get worn away. The gears seat into each other. And the result is that a 200,000-mile e-CVT often runs quieter and smoother than a brand new one. I talked to a mechanic who specializes in high-mileage Toyotas, and he told me he's rebuilt transmissions on regular Camrys at 150,000 miles, and then turned around and seen Camry hybrids roll in with 300,000 on the original e-CVT with zero issues. In fact, he said the high-mileage ones feel better. The transitions are smoother. The whine that some people complain about on new Priuses mellows out after 100,000 miles. The hybrid battery also breaks in. When the battery's new, the cells are all slightly different from manufacturing tolerances. Some charge a little faster, some discharge a little slower. The battery management system has to work harder to keep them balanced. But after tens of thousands of charge and discharge cycles, the cells equalize. They settle into a rhythm. The battery management system gets better data about how each cell behaves, and the whole pack operates more predictably. I've seen reports from Prius owners who noticed their fuel economy actually improved slightly after 150,000 miles, not because the car became more efficient, but because the hybrid system learned the driver's habits and optimized battery usage. The computer gets smarter the more data it collects. And then there's the engine. Toyota's hybrid engines run on the Atkinson cycle, which is less stressed than a traditional engine. They also turn on and off constantly, so they're never running continuously for hours. That on-off cycling actually prevents carbon buildup in the intake valves because the engine cools down between uses. Traditional engines that idle at stoplights for years develop carbon deposits that hybrids avoid. So you end up with this weird situation where a 200,000-mile Prius often runs better than a 200,000-mile Corolla, even though they have similar engines, because the hybrid system protected the engine from the kind of wear that kills regular cars. Number 2. Honda's two-motor hybrid system, but only the newer one. This is the 2018 and newer Accord Hybrid, the CR-V Hybrid, the Civic Hybrid. Honda's earlier hybrids were kind of a mess, but the current system is brilliant, and like Toyota's, it actually improves with use. Honda's system works differently. Most of the time, the electric motor drives the wheels directly. The engine runs as a generator, making electricity for the motor. At highway speeds, a clutch engages and the engine drives the wheels mechanically. It's clever, and it feels more like a regular car than Toyota's system. The reason it gets better with age is similar. The clutch that connects the engine at highway speeds is a wet clutch, meaning it runs in oil. Wet clutches, when designed properly, break in. The friction material seats. The engagement becomes more smooth. Owners report that the transition between electric drive and engine drive, which can feel a little abrupt when the car's new, becomes almost unnoticeable after 50,000 or 60,000 miles. The electric motor also breaks in. Bearings, seat, clearances stabilize. The motor gets quieter. I test drove a friend's 2019 Accord Hybrid with 120,000 miles, and I was shocked at how smooth and quiet it was, smoother than some I've driven with 20,000. Now, Honda's system does have a potential weak point, the clutch. We've talked about that before. At very high mileage, that clutch can wear out, but in the first 100,000 to 150,000 miles, it's breaking in, not wearing out. The car genuinely feels better during that period. The other thing that improves is the software. Honda has issued multiple software updates over the years that refine how the hybrid system operates. Better transition logic, smoother power delivery, improved efficiency calibration. If you buy a used Honda hybrid and take it to the dealer for an update, you're often getting a better behaving car than the original owner bought new. That's rare. Most cars don't improve with software updates. They just get patches for problems. Number 3. Lexus hybrids, but specifically the luxury models. I separated Lexus from Toyota because they use the same e-CVT system, but Lexus takes it further. The ES Hybrid, RX Hybrid, LS Hybrid, these cars are over-engineered in a way that makes them age like fine wine.
Lexus uses more sound insulation, better motor mounts, higher quality bearings, and more refined software tuning than Toyota. When these cars are new, they're already exceptionally smooth. But as they age and everything breaks in, they become almost supernaturally quiet and refined. I rode in a 2013 Lexus ES Hybrid with over 200,000 miles. It had been a corporate fleet car, so it lived a hard life. But the interior was quiet, the ride was smooth, the hybrid system operated flawlessly. The only thing that gave away its mileage was a worn driver's seat and some paint chips on the hood. Mechanically, it felt like it had 50,000 miles. Part of this is Lexus build quality, but part of it is that the hybrid system inherently protects the car from the kind of abuse that kills other vehicles. The regenerative braking means the brake pads and rotors barely wear. The engine runs less, so there's less wear. The e-CVT has no friction components to degrade. And because Lexus owners tend to maintain their cars well, these hybrids often have complete service records, fresh fluids, regular inspections. That combination of great engineering and proper care creates cars that hit 300,000 miles and still feel solid. I know a guy who bought a 2010 RX 450 HS with 180,000 miles, paid about half what a comparable mileage regular RX would cost because people are scared of high-mileage hybrids. 3 years later, he's at 240,000, zero hybrid system issues. He changes the oil, he replaced the 12-volt battery once, that's it. His biggest expense was tires. Now let me tell you about the one component that actually works better at high mileage, the hybrid battery itself. This sounds insane, but it's true. When a hybrid battery is brand new, the cells are all slightly different. Manufacturing tolerances mean some cells have a bit more capacity, some a bit less. The battery management system has to work around this. It charges and discharges the pack conservatively because it doesn't fully trust the cells yet. But after thousands of cycles, the cells equalize. The weaker cells either improve or the system learns to route around them. The stronger cells stabilize. The whole pack becomes more predictable. And the battery management system, which has been collecting data the entire time, knows exactly how to use the pack most efficiently. I've seen test data from battery shops that specialize in hybrids. They measure capacity and internal resistance of cells, and consistently, batteries in the 100,000 to 150,000 mile range perform better than batteries under 50,000 miles, assuming they've been maintained properly. The cells are balanced. The management system is optimized. Everything works together. Obviously, this doesn't last forever. Eventually, cells start to degrade from age and chemistry. But there's a sweet spot, usually between 80,000 and 180,000 miles, where a hybrid battery is at its best. This is why some mechanics who rebuild hybrid batteries actually prefer working with used cells from known good packs over brand new cells. The used cells have been through the break-in. They're predictable. New cells are an unknown. So, here's what this means if you're shopping for a car. A high-mileage Toyota or Lexus hybrid is not the risk most people think it is. In fact, if it's been maintained, it might be in better shape than a newer car with a traditional powertrain. The hybrid system doesn't wear out the way transmissions and engines do. It breaks in. A 150,000-mile Camry hybrid with service records is often a better buy than a 150,000-mile regular Camry because the hybrid has fewer wear items and the e-CVT is nearly indestructible. A 180,000-mile Lexus ES hybrid or RX hybrid is genuinely one of the best used car values on the market if you can get past the mental block of the mileage number. These cars run forever. And a newer Honda Accord hybrid with 80,000 to 120,000 miles is right in that sweet spot where everything has broken in but nothing has worn out yet. The key is maintenance. You want to see oil changes. You want to see that the 12-volt battery has been replaced at least once. You want to know the hybrid battery cooling filter has been cleaned. If those things have been done, high mileage is not a problem. It's proof the car works. Compare that to buying a hybrid with 30,000 miles. Yeah, it's low mileage, but it hasn't broken in yet. The e-CVT might still have that new car whine. The battery cells haven't equalized. The software hasn't learned the optimal efficiency curves. You're paying a premium for a car that isn't even at its best yet. I'm not saying buy a clapped-out hybrid with no service records and hope for the best. I'm saying don't be afraid of mileage on the right systems. A 200,000-mile Prius that's been maintained is a better car than a 200,000-mile anything else. That's just physics and engineering. If you want advice that helps you make smarter car decisions based on how things actually work, subscribe. Most people are out here guessing. This channel actually checks. Every car has a story, and sometimes the best part of the story is in the second half.